wherever you are in podcast land. Brendan Cunningham, the real estate doctor, here at EXP. With me, Matt Paul does it all. We have somebody dropped from outer space again. We have Cory, and he's going to continue our conversation, our discussion that we started last week about commercial real estate. Cory, what the hell's your story?
That's a great question. So my story is, I was a young, ambitious guy. Worked at a couple banks, a couple national banks.
Good. You started the banking side. We like that.
Correct. And figured out I wasn't going to be satisfied getting a 9-to-5 kind of salary.
A check every week, yeah.
Yeah, I had a kid early. Had my son at 22. So I was just kind of like, how's this going to look?
Yeah.
Next 10, 15 years, and then I'm going to come in here and work 40, 50 hours a week and get a paycheck, or am I going to get my hustle shoes on and figure out a way to become financially independent or have more time. So, right?
I like how you say you put your hustle shoes on. Yes, what we do, you
got
have to hustle. I mean, I know everyone just thinks it's easy and here's a $10 million deal. Yeah, it doesn't quite happen that way.
No, you gotta earn it. You gotta work for it.
Absolutely.
You gotta earn it. So you have your hustle shoes on.
Yep.
And then you started to do real estate residentially or commercially.
No, so what happened was I did my own due diligence. I found out. Well, I think I have to step back. I got into the space because I wanted to do something financial services related.
Okay.
So I tried to do insurance and advisement at first, and I could not really figure that Rubik's Cube out.
I had a similar situation. Somebody from Money, Mutual of New York, tried to solicit me, and he says, "You have to understand." He says there are different sales. He says, "We're selling fear."
Yeah.
Okay. And I said, "Yeah, I'm not sure I like it that way." And with real estate, you're selling hope.
Yeah.
Or buildings.
Or buildings.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had that epiphany. Like, this isn't going to work for me. So I was like, what am I going to do in this sphere where I can kind of control my own destiny? And a buddy of mine happened to be working for Palace Realty. Remember Palace?
Yeah.
Realty?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This was,
Oh wait. Oh yeah.
This is
I had a thing.
2004, 2005, but he was chilling, and I was like, dude, I'm like a year or two older than you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm selling real estate, and I was like, oh, say no more.
Yep.
So I went and I took a class at John Cusack's place over on Main Street.
Yep.
And you have to have a sponsoring broker.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, can I still get the license without having a sponsoring broker? And they're like, yeah. So I got the license, and then it was up to me to decide if I was going to get a broker. Yeah. Having a background in banking and like in the business banking space, I always was intrigued by the value of commercial property, and it being somewhat of a little bit more of a challenging space to break into. I immediately kind of just was like, I don't think I'm going residential. I may have met with, my gosh, Realty USA was around at this time, so I may have met with some guys from over there, and another guy or two over in another shop, and I'm just kind of like, I don't want to deal with.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's kind of not my demographic or my person, right?
Yep. So
I put a resume in at all of the firms here locally, CB, Pyramid at the time, which is now
the big boys.
All the big boys.
Yeah.
Yep.
And one guy called me back. I forget his name, man. He gave me an interview. It went well, and he was like, "I'm gonna give you a shot." He was like, "Okay."
There you go.
No effing idea.
As a fiduciary.
I had no idea how to sell a building, what to look for, characteristics of selling.
Everyone sold their first building at one point.
Yep.
If they're in the building.
But it's scary.
Yeah. And then you're scared. The biggest investors I know, I think he owns 20,000 units at this point. But when he bought his first 4 unit, this guy was an accountant. He was a business person. He was sharp. He says he went home and he soiled himself. That's how nervous he was.
Yeah, no, it's
20,000 unit later, he's not soiling
Yeah.
himself.
You know what? Everything is in numbers that you're not traditionally used to working with, even though it's basic math, right? So you're calculating square footage at a higher scale. Commissions.
All right, so let's fast forward. So you primarily do commercial real estate.
Correct.
with a large firm,
National.
and national firm. And okay, how would you rate Buffalo? Good place to buy investment property? Not so good to buy.
I'm bullish on Buffalo.
So you say that with a little reservation.
Well, first and foremost, let me preface that I'm Buffalo born and raised.
Okay.
I spent the last 7.5 years in 2 major metro markets, and when you come back home, so to speak,
The other metric, can you talk?
yeah, Atlanta and
major market.
DC,
Real
which
big.
are
Totally different from
density are different,
everything.
income's different,
Almost nothing is.
and those 2 markets are different. And
Atlanta, major city, capital city, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you come back to Buffalo, and you're kind of looking like
Savannah.
Savannah's the capital. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You come back to Buffalo, you're like, there's some opportunities here that I may have, number one, ignored before. And, you know, when you're from here, you kind of know where the areas that are turning faster, right?
Yep.
So I can be an early speculator, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, you know, that competitive advantage makes Buffalo attractive. I think pricing makes Buffalo attractive to a more national client, but locally, there's ways to take advantage of, you know, neighborhoods and markets and within the sub-market that are, you know, catching fire, and you're like, oh, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah, get on this before it's too late.
Right.
It's interesting to use the word speculate. I haven't heard that word in a long time, and it used to be a negative.
Yeah.
Really?
So, yeah, they say, well, do you want to sell a house to this guy over here, or do you want to sell it to some speculator? And now it's like, I just want to sell it to somebody who's got money.
I want to get to close.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, big markets, small markets, we're a little different. If you were gonna buy in Buffalo, and you say you're bullish on Buffalo, where?
So, I personally recently bought in Riverside, Black Rock.
Love Riverside.
That's where we're in Black Rock
Love
right
Black
now.
Rock. I'm happy to hear you say that, because it validates everything that I've been telling people for years. I said, this is a hot air.
Yeah.
West Side is getting kind of done.
Well, about 10 years ago, I lived in one of the early lofts that was developed just a few blocks away from here. And, you know, you could kind of feel the momentum, and then pandemic obviously slowed momentum down everywhere.
Yep.
And now, you know, I feel like there's still maybe some lag from that, but there's good buys in the market. You know, the bones and the structure have not changed within the marketplace here. So you can buy a good property, you can get some value add opportunity. You know,
you're invested in multifamily space, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Do you have any mixed use buildings?
I do. I have a mixed use building on Niagara in Amherst. It's 8 units, 6 apartments, two commercial storefronts.
Great. And is it all occupied?
So we are renovating 4. But I will say this about the momentum of Buffalo. There's people who call every day that are looking for both a retail space and or a apartment.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So that's a good.
And those resonated in some markets.
Yep.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. So you could definitely take care of one of those people with the
Absolutely.
lower.
We'll be stabilized August.
Nice.
August 1 will be stabilized.
And you say we, so you have partners.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you do partners on all of your transactions?
Yeah, in some format.
Okay.
I think the number one of the ways have to entry into the space is you need somebody who's richer than you.
Yeah.
Okay,
or that's done it before, right?
Yeah, or who's good.
Yeah.
It's tough to get a loan, right?
Yeah.
Commercial's different.
Yeah, it's not like residential.
Doing 30-year loans and
Well, you can get 30-year,
but it's not as common. Yeah.
But it's the guarantee aspect, right?
Yep.
Do you have a balance sheet? What is your experience? Even if you got money, do you know how to do this particular thing? So
that holds weight for sure.
Yeah, once you do your first one, you kind of like, okay,
yeah, I got this.
I ripped the Band-Aid off, and now I know what to look for.
Yep. Cool.
I asked about the partner thing because it's interesting. I think Buffalo sort of lags behind the rest of the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, I always say 30 to 40 years behind. I mean, we're just sort of doing lofts now, where they were doing that 40 years ago.
Yeah.
But one of the things I think is interesting is like when some people are having a tough time entering the residential market, Well, when I entered the residential market back in the early 80s, it was very common to see people take partners in residentially.
Really?
They buy a 3-family unit, they go tenants in common,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's what they do. You don't see that here almost at all.
Yeah, no.
And it was like very, very common. I said it's only a matter of time before people figure that out.
So I think
My first 4 deals, 3 of them I had partners.
well, some of it is I think social media, and this is no knock against social media because I think it's helped people, create the vast amount of wealth.
Yep.
But snippets dictate people's knowledge of business in a lot of sense. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I do.
So they
We
hear
do.
Yeah.
people will hear a catchphrase, or they'll get 35, 50 seconds of game, so to speak,
Yep.
and then that's without going and doing the due diligence behind that.
Yep.
Then they all of a sudden try to manipulate that strategy, or that's law.
Yep.
And you still have to do your own homework. Right?
Everything's a law.
Yeah,
No,
so-
there's almost no law. There's a lot of customs
Yeah.
and procedures, but a lot of these things aren't laws. There are laws.
Yeah.
You got to definitely think outside the box, though, and be creative. And
creative in a lot of ways, right?
Yep.
So I think a lot of one of the more overused terms is creative financing.
yeah.
Which is
It's
Depending on how
common.
you-
It's part of the nature of a commercial transaction.
Depending on how you define it,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
depends on if it's creative financing or not, right?
Yep.
Or not, right?
Yeah.
But I think the highest and best use aspect is sometimes the real driver of commercial real estate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. And getting the money.
We
Right?
buy a property here. Does this property as it currently sits make sense? Right.
Makes sense. And sometimes we just say, let's talk cap rates. We were talking about cap rates.
Right.
What's a cap
But
rate?
that all ties in.
Yes.
It all ties in.
Yep.
So if you're buying in Buffalo as an investor, which you are, what sort of a cap rate is your minimum cap rate?
So in a I would say my group, we look for 8 to 8.5% across all product types.
Okay.
So you don't
So-
get.
Right.
And are you seeing
you're
that the
not in-
right aids right now are going at a 4 cap? And they're popped up
Well,
everywhere.
Rite Aids are probably more trading. I sold one downtown, and we probably sold it at 11 or 12.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So
Good.
the difference in the product type would be if it's got a corporate guaranteed back tenant.
Okay. Like a national retailer.
So you get an AutoZone on a 9-year, 10-year lease.
A golden tenant.
Yeah.
Right.
Basic.
Right.
Yeah.
Some type of
Oh, it makes it
investment grade tenant.
Yep.
That cap rate's going to trade at a much lower cap rate than an individual or a more
Like boutique
riskier.
style or
Right.
yeah.
So obviously, the lower the cap rate, the safer the investment. Higher the cap rate, the more risk. Right.
Yep.
But in the game of commercial real estate or real estate as a whole, right? Risk equals
Reward.
the bigger reward.
Yeah.
So it's about taking it, right? So
Yeah.
when I look at deals, because I look at everything.
I look at everything.
Yeah.
I look at everything. I look at small office buildings. Is there a conversion play? Retail strip centers. Is there a re-tenant play? Even single tenant. Is this lot the best use for that particular tenant? Maybe we knock the building down and we sell it to a gas station.
Yeah.
C-store operator or something to that respect.
So you're looking at every option.
Yeah.
Not just what the current use is of that
Yeah,
building.
I think right now, probably, one of my favorite asset classes, and I'm not invested there yet, is self-storage.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I know it is.
huge.
It's cash.
I'm
It is
in
print
a
cash.
multifamily space. Every day there's something different going
Yeah.
on. You're like,
You're a social worker.
oh,
You're a
yeah,
landlord.
every day.
Yeah, storage is huge.
Or there's a need, right?
Yep.
So
Yep. Self storage. You don't hear from
maybe
anybody.
Unit count.
No
Yeah.
plumbing issues.
Rent roll, nobody's bothering you, man.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
man.
They barely go there. You know.
You got 3 employees.
Yeah. At most.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't work at the same time, so they're not arguing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Yeah.
self storage is hot. It's hard to find those deals.
Yeah, get
Right.
a good accountant, man, and
Yep.
I don't think it's hard to find as much as it, if you're not in the space, like anything you're breaking into.
Yep.
How do you wrap your mind around it?
How do you get in the room with the other owners? Right. Yeah.
So that's
Yep.
just some real DD, put your homework up.
Yep.
But I
So,
also think because of construction of it, it's probably a not so expensive product to build.
no, it's a skeleton, right? It's a
Right,
shell
so
on a
like,
slab.
Maybe elements to play there, right?
Yeah.
And then buy land, build it, develop it, sell it.
Yep. Fill it, sell it.
Yeah.
So if you have your number one grade A buyer, what would you want him to buy in this town right now?
In the city of Buffalo? That's a great question. Wow.
Yeah.
Office building,
Don't
strip plaza,
feel rushed.
condo conversion.
So there's
Could be anything.
I'm not going to name the broker.
Mhm.
There's a property on Delaware Avenue, downtown Buffalo. Great real estate, a historic property, and it's a mixed use. So there's, restaurant. There's a few restaurants, maybe called small retail, and then office above.
Okay.
And I saw it hit the market at like $7.5 million with an 8 cap, close to an 8 cap handle on it. I thought that there could be some play there.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get that down to 7.
You think that'll be
Six,
you think
six,
that'll be an out of town
Yeah.
buyer, or you think that'll be an in town buyer?
So the way the market works in commercial real estate, it's a small world.
Yep.
Everybody
Everyone knows
kind
everything.
of knows everybody. So the real truth, if it's a great deal, and the best buyers in Buffalo haven't bought it, then they're probably not the buyer. For
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
Or all the good brokers know the right buyers.
Yep.
I'll say it like that. I mean, I think that kind of works across the board when you have a broker investor relationship or investment buyer.
Yep.
Broker relationship.
You're calling all your investors before you even put it
Who
up.
wants to share the fee?
Yeah.
Commercial real estate is about protecting the fee, right?
Yes.
So you're calling your best guys. You call your best 10 guys, or I'm not as active as I used to be, but when I was like, so I got into the space when I was 26. I kind of worked for after my first situation didn't work out. I went and worked for a legend in the business. And it was a great relationship. But that's when you were 60, 70, 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
You're driving around, you're putting tons of miles in your car, you're calling every, FISBO you can,
Yep.
every small landlord or owner. And I had a different vigor.
Yeah.
I think now I look at the business more from an investor / broker lens. And now it's more of a sharpshooting business, right?
Yep.
So
You're not chasing things around. You're good.
I learned how to do financial models, so I can underwrite my own deals. I spend more time talking to mortgage brokers than I do real estate brokers.
Yeah, that's fair. I get that.
Because that's one of the hardest things in commercial is getting a loan, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
How do you put the financing
they
together?
also have deals. They have
Well,
deal
48
flow.
is the deal we
They
got
have deal
going.
flow.
Yep.
I think that's an underrated prospect in the space when you're prospecting is the mortgage broker.
Yeah.
Well, yes, and then with commercial loans, they have different requirements like environmental studies and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah,
a
for
lot
sure.
more,
Yep.
a lot
Oh, yeah.
more hoops.
Yeah.
It's not just
Yeah.
For sure.
it's not like a residential
For sure.
loan.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've had a few interesting exchanges with our friend Cory here, and our final statements of the descent pattern. What would you like to
Please
share
like,
with
follow, subscribe. Let us know if you have any questions or comments. Thank you for
This was
tuning in.
good. Thank you.
Thanks for your time, Cory.
Man,
Thank
thank you.
you.
And he wasn't sweating
Yeah,
because he
yeah.
was nervous. He sent us
It's
the air conditioning on the first hot day of the year.
wasn't working.
It wasn't working all that well. We open
It's
the
okay.
windows.
We're all athletes here. We're all
Yeah,
sports,
yeah.
man. You know how it is.
Exactly.
Catch us next
Thanks
week.
for tuning